Looking for a low-cost hearing aid that is better and cheaper than most online hearing aids? Well, you're in luck, because in this video, I'm reviewing the EarVenture ReVel Hearing Aid. Coming up. Hi guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Anthem, Arizona. And on this channel, I cover a bunch of hearing-related information to help make you a better informed consumer. So if you're into that, consider hitting the subscribe button. The rise of online hearing aids has provided individuals with hearing loss an alternative to hearing aids traditionally purchased in a clinic. And while you can get these online hearing aids at a cheaper cost than ones that you would get in a clinic, you are going to sacrifice some basic features that will help you hear better. And you can't custom program a hearing aid purchased online to your hearing loss prescription. In light of this, a relatively new hearing aid manufacturer called EarVenture set out to change this. EarVenture manufactures FDA-registered low-cost hearing devices, and you can get these hearing aids inside of a traditional hearing aid clinic, and they can be custom programmed, which is something you can't do with an online hearing aid. EarVenture has several different models of hearing aids to choose from, including the Favor and the Savvy, but in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the EarVenture ReVel behind-the-ear hearing aid, so let's go ahead and get to the unboxing. All right, let's check out the EarVenture ReVel hearing aids. First and foremost, you have a user manual that shows you some different functions of the hearing aid, like the program changing, the volume changing, and how to change the battery. And let's put that off to the side and get into the exciting stuff, which is the actual hearing aids. First and foremost, these hearing aids at the price point that they're at, they are definitely more sleek looking than hearing aids that you can get at that price point. So that's really nice to have. Here at the bottom, you have the volume adjustment, so you can increase volume, decrease volume. You have the program changing button. You'll end up finding out that these have 4 different programs that can be customized by your hearing care professional. And probably the coolest feature of these hearing aids, particularly at this price point, is that they have dual microphones, which is extremely important when you start dealing with background noise situations. So you have the rear microphone right there. Don't know if you can see it, it's pretty small. And then you have the front microphone right here. And to have dual microphones on a hearing aid at a price point like this one will likely be at for you is substantially better than other hearing aids that you can typically buy online at that price point. Those hearing aids typically come with only one microphone, which puts you at a significant disadvantage compared to a hearing aid like this. What we have coupled onto it right now is a slim tube. So this is your most invisible option that you have. This will go down into your ear and it has a dome on it and a little retention filament to keep that inside of your ear. But you also could use any different type of attachment at the tip here to make sure you get a better customized fit. You can even have a custom ear mold done to have a custom tip put on the end of this slim tube. It's really good if you want to control the amount of sound that goes in to your ear from the hearing aid to make it more of a customizable device. And you could also, if you have more of a severe type of hearing loss, or rather a moderate severe type of hearing loss, you could get a size 13 tube with an ear hook that goes down into an ear mold that you have made for your ear by your hearing care professional. This will allow you to get more amplification than you can if you just go with the slim tube. So it's an important consideration and one that should be discussed or determined by your hearing care professional. The case here has a little battery compartment so you can keep your batteries. These devices happen to use the size 312 battery that uses the brown color code to indicate that. And the only other thing inside of the case here is the cleaning tool. So you have a pretty standard cleaning tool here with a brush, a magnet to remove batteries, and a pick on the end that you can use to pick earwax out of your ear mold if necessary. So that is it for the unboxing of the EarVenture ReVel. Let's check the devices out and see how they perform. So now that you know what the hearing aid looks like, let's go ahead and get into the pros of the EarVenture ReVel, and pro number 1 is, of course, the cost. One ReVel hearing aid will likely only set you back around $400 depending on where you go to get it, which is significantly lower in cost than most name brand hearing aids and even lower in cost than most online hearing aids. Pro number 2 is that it has digital noise reduction, and this is something that I actually test with any hearing aid that I'm reviewing just to see how much it can reduce background noise. Basically, how I do this test is I put the hearing aid in my ear and I play noise to it, and I see how much I can reduce that noise with the hearing aid. So let's take a look at those measurements that I did. So first I'm going to test the hearing aid that has a size 13 tube with custom ear mold, and what we want to see is that red line move further away from that solid purple line. Basically, I'm playing noise to the hearing aids and seeing how much of that noise it is reducing. And now when we look at the differences between the two lines, we see that there's about a 9 decibel reduction in background noise, which is very good. And let's go ahead and test the left ear that we have the slim tube and open dome on. And as you can see here, again, we're looking for that red line to drop further away from that purple line, which indicates to us that we are having measurable noise reduction happening with this hearing aid when we're playing noise to the hearing aid. And we can see that there is a 10 decibel reduction in noise with the slim tube and open dome, which is also very good. As you can see, the amount of noise reduction that the ReVel hearing aid has is impressive. In fact, it's better than other hearing aids that I've reviewed at this price point, and it's even better than other hearing aids that I've reviewed that are significantly higher than this price point. And the other great thing about it is that your hearing care professional can customize the amount of digital noise reduction that best suits you. Pro number 3 is the ReVel's programming features. There are a ton of adjustments that you can make inside of these hearing aids that you just flat out cannot make with an online hearing aid. Not only can you adjust the noise reduction, but you can adjust the microphone configuration, you can activate the feedback suppression, you can add a variety of different custom programs like a normal program, a noise program, a music program, a mute program. You can even activate the Telecoil inside of it, which other hearing aids at this price point generally do not have. Pro number 4 is dual microphones. Just like I covered in the unboxing, each ReVel hearing aid has 2 microphones per device, which is extremely important when you want to be able to hear better in background noise. Imagine if you're in a restaurant and you want to hear the person in front of you. If you have 2 microphones, that hearing aid can determine which direction the important speech is coming from, so it doesn't over-amplify certain noises that are behind you and to the sides of you. Pro number 5 is that the ReVel hearing aid is custom programmable. Perhaps the biggest downfall of hearing aids bought online is they can't be custom programmed to your hearing loss prescription. Now, when I say custom programmable, I don't mean sending off a hearing test and having that hearing aid come back pre-programmed. That is not custom programmed. The only way to custom program a hearing aid is to have real ear measures performed on them. So I wanted to go ahead and do real ear measures on these devices and see how well they did. To see how close these hearing aids can get to a hearing loss prescription, I'm going to be checking the left ear, which is the blue X's, and it is going to be a normal sloping to a moderate hearing loss. So I'm going to fit that type of hearing loss with a slim tube and open dome. And in the right ear, I'm trying to fit a flat, moderate to severe hearing loss and see if we can hit those targets with a size 13 tube, ear hook, and custom ear mold. As I start the test here, what we're trying to accomplish is get that solid purple line, which is the amplification coming out of the hearing aid, to overlap with the hash mark line, which is the prescription for this type of hearing loss. And as you can see, we're getting pretty close to that prescriptive target, but this is after making some additional changes in the hearing aid. I wasn't quite able to get it all the way up to a severe hearing loss prescription in those high frequencies. And this is, of course, me testing the hearing aid inside my ear. So it may be a little different for another person's ear. And here we are switching over to the left ear to see if we can hit some normal sloping to moderate hearing loss prescriptive targets, which again, the prescription is in the hash mark line and the sound coming out of the hearing aid is in the purple solid line. And as you can see here, we are not quite on those targets, but I'm going to make some adjustments in that hearing aid and try again. And here we are. These are the recordings that are taking inside of my ear canal to see if we are meeting the prescription for this moderate hearing loss using a slim tube and open dome. And after making those adjustments, you can see here that we are very close to the prescriptive targets, which indicates we have a really good fit for this hearing aid for this type of hearing loss. Now, if you want to know more about real ear measurement, I highly recommend that you watch my video that I will link in the card up here and in the description below, because it is the single most important thing that you can have done to a hearing aid to ensure your success. And pro number 6, the ReVel hearing aid can be purchased from and fit by your local hearing clinic. Any state-licensed hearing care professional can get an account with EarVenture so they can dispense and adjust their products. Now, whether or not your hearing care professional locally will want to work with EarVenture hearing aids is completely up to them. But even if they choose not to dispense EarVenture hearing aids, if you happen to get a set of EarVenture devices and take them into your local hearing clinic, that clinic could actually get the programming software for free from EarVenture, and they may even have cables laying around their office that can do the programming. If they don't have the cables, they can request the cables from EarVenture for a nominal fee. This means that you can get hearing aids for about the same price as you would buy hearing aids online, and you can have them adjusted and programmed by your local hearing care professional. All right, that's it for the pros. Now let's get into the cons. And con number 1 is that they only come in a slim tube model with a dome and a size 13 tube model with an ear mold. For the likely reason of wanting to keep the costs as low as possible, they did not go with the receiver in the canal style of hearing aid, which is one of the most popular hearing aid styles on the market. But that being said, you're not really limited in terms of what you can fit with these styles of hearing aids. If you wanted to go with the size 13 tube with custom ear mold, you can basically fit a wide range of hearing losses all the way up to a moderately severe hearing loss. The size 13 tubing has a pretty good profile, basically similar to other type of hearing aids that you would use a size 13 tubing for, and then the slim tube model is definitely the more discreet option, just has that really thin tube that goes down into your ears. I did have a little bit of feedback issue with the slim tube with the open dome, so depending on the severity of hearing loss in your high frequencies, you may need to close off the dome a little bit more. Con number 2 is the limited color options. They basically only come in 3 different colors. The first one is bronze, the second one is metallic black, and the third one is charcoal. Now I know I'm being picky, especially since other brands of hearing aids that are sold at this price point only come in generally the flesh tone color. I'm used to using the big 6 hearing aid manufacturers' hearing aids that come in a bunch of different colors that let me customize it to an individual's hair color, which basically makes those hearing aids disappear. Con number 3 is that it may cost a little extra money in order to get it custom programmed. Now I know I talked about one of the benefits of the ReVel is it being custom programmable, but generally those services cost you extra money. When you buy a hearing aid online or for a really low cost, it's generally because you can't have it custom programmed or you're not having it custom programmed. So in order to get the benefit out of it, you need to spend a little bit of extra money in order to make sure that it's custom programmed to your hearing loss prescription. Con number 4 is that the ReVel hearing aid is just not as good as a big 6 manufacturer hearing aid, and not that I was really expecting it to be. Big 6 manufacturer hearing aids are just in a completely different league and have options and features that the ReVel could only dream of. That being said, the ReVel is a good basic hearing aid. Just to be clear, I was extremely impressed with the ReVel hearing aid, and even though it can't compete with the big 6 hearing aid brands, it definitely exceeded my expectations. Ultimately, when considering the value of a hearing aid, you have to look at what you're getting for what cost. And with the ReVel hearing aid, you are absolutely getting your money's worth, especially since you can have a local hearing care professional custom program it to your hearing loss prescription. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. If you like the video, please share it. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time.